Zoom.
Okay.
Okay, approval of the December minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Visitors' comments? We have no visitors. Officer elections. Somebody wants this. Come on. It's nothing. You just sit here. You don't.
I think you're doing a great job. I'd like to nominate Ron Cliff to
Yes.
maintain the chair.
No, I did it
Yeah,
like 25 years. Come on, somebody. Who's not here? Tim?
We vote someone in absentia.
I think we can. I think though Eric said last meeting.
Well, we voted David.
We did.
Oh, that's right.
Kidding me? That's why I showed up.
Be there. Somehow unfit I am. The budget was hard.
Never volunteer.
Okay.
Who's the vice chair?
Yeah, we don't have one. It's just me.
I think that's good.
So, are you accepting?
No,
Oh,
no.
well,
I'm
then
not.
we need to nominate someone and elect them.
I haven't been here long enough.
Yes, you have. I'll be vice chair for you. I don't miss meetings.
I will volunteer.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right. We need to vote.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor of Dave Smith being the chair? Aye. Opposed? Stacy, you're opposed? Oh, Stacy's muted. Why are you? Why is
You're
she muted?
muted, Stacy.
I voted yes.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, I'm sorry.
There's a delay.
There's a delay.
Nope, not delayed. Please take it.
All right.
Okay,
And vice chair?
I will vice chair.
Do we have to vote that in? I would say yes. Favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There we go.
All right, now you have to confirm if you want me to continue as secretary. If not, then you do have to put somebody in.
Oh, no, we want you to continue as secretary. All in favor of Fran being continuing as secretary?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right, old business, rooftop lighting update. I don't know that we have much. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's not on his memo.
No, it was something, I mean, last meeting we ran into, and it was on the minutes about that Strive had,
Strive was behind
yeah, behind, and they were working on Old Orchard first.
and then we'll be next.
Okay. And then.
Will we
decor-
get notifications when they come or are scheduled to get on the building? Will they notify us?
They generally do,
Should.
but the
Just because
problem,
we don't really want them walking on the roof without letting us know.
right, yeah, exactly. So we will, if they usually come to my building or yours in the past, and you know, and that's how they get up there. They could go
Mhm.
over to, you know, the lower buildings on the side and hop over the roof too. But we'll make a note to make sure that Eric lets us know when they're going up on the roofs, because I know you have that one spot you don't
Yeah,
want being around.
yeah, because that seal, anytime somebody walks by it, it pops and then we get that leak. So I need to tell them before they walk on the roof that,
Right.
you know, they cause any damages that
Right.
they'll
So
fix it.
Paisley Building is the next one.
Well, yeah,
Well, our strand is broken.
and it's been tried to been repaired 3 or 4 different times, so. Decorative parking sign update. I guess Tim's not
Here's
here,
not here. I don't know any.
right? Okay. And parking
Wasn't that
permit?
Tim's wife wasn't Tim's wife supposed to be turning something in for that or no? Wait,
Laura Burns.
Cause I need it. Oh, Laura's doing
was
it.
gonna work with Tim on that.
Oh, good.
So I'll see if I can find any information out from her.
You guys have been a little busy.
Yes, look.
Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to read this real quick. Okay, so parking permits, we have no update on, as far as what we were proposing about the maybe overselling some of the parking permits. Or adding some customer parking
So I was
signs.
reading in the minutes, are individual spots actually assigned currently?
No, not in, it's just that you have an
I was
orange,
thinking the same thing.
you have just have an orange permit.
Okay,
And then you can
Read the
park in
minutes
any
of-
orange permit sign.
reading the minutes, it sounded like they were actual spots, but and not.
So what
Well,
we're,
they are for the permits.
Yeah, a whole area and a lot of permit parking, but not like permit number 2.
Okay.
Right.
but there's,
And I guess,
Okay, why doesn't the city, why don't we oversubscribe them?
and then can we, is there a way to shuffle the permits around to where if there's public parking that's not as used, right? Make that permit parking and then the permits like that are in the garage where there's people that want to go during the day to go shopping and whatnot, like give them more parking, especially if the spots are empty. Like I guess.
well, that's what the
That's
dilemma
sort of the
is.
idea.
Yeah,
It's like-
like, Officer Rule can't really police, I mean, you know, there's plenty of parking where people are just working from home now, or offices are just not being refilled. But all those spots have been sold. There's other people who want to buy more spots.
Which we were able to get, which we were shocked.
Okay,
They called us, we got put on a waiting list and we were able to get 2 more spots. So someone has released, because that rarely happens.
okay, so maybe the people are just looking long-term. It's like, okay, we aren't having these giant meetings at Farnsworth Group anymore, or whatever, and they just aren't taking it much. I don't know, but,
But I think that in the long term.
Or
like-
maybe they were like, let's appease the board members.
Right, I think like long term though,
Gosh.
like if we notice like that there's a lot of empty permit spots in the garage.
Right.
Like the garage especially, like. We're not open during the day, I just am there all day, like when I see like people trying to find parking spaces and the garage has all these empty spots. And then people park in these empty spots and don't read the signs and then they get tickets.
Mhm.
Because, yeah, you see that, right? Yeah. And then it's like, oh, I got a ticket, and then it leaves a bad taste in the mouth. But if we've got other parking that's not utilized, can we remove some of the permits from the garage? Since they're not being used and put them somewhere else in the district? And then get more public parking for the public.
Or a bigger question is there any long-term parking plan? You know, like garage or buying up lots, few blocks out of the district? I mean,
So
is there any,
Yes, ma'am.
go ahead.
the church, one of the people from the church came over a couple of weeks ago and said, you know, that they're trying to get approval for this other business to be in the church. Do you know anything about this, Rod?
I
You
do,
know
I mean, I know that they're just trying to, have
Yeah.
some music lessons in there or something like that. Is that not going
So
through?
they have, well, they don't know yet. They're basically having meeting after meeting, a meeting about their lot right now. And the lady that was like talking to me about it, like off, I don't want to say it was like off the record, but she was just shooting. She was just talking to me about it. Wasn't like, she wasn't coming over to specifically talk to us about the lot. But she had mentioned that they keep bringing up in their meetings, selling the lot to Webster.
Mm.
I thought that was interesting.
So that may be
And
back, the back lot.
no,
that
the
we are-
one, I think it's the one across the street from us, because she was talking about now the coffee house is parking in there. And they're like, well, if they're gonna park there anyway, we might as well attempt to sell this lot. So I know that they have been talking.
I don't think that they would ever sell it. They might do a contract with the
It's been-
city. Yeah,
Well,
They're
we
already
said it.
leasing the one lot to us. Yeah, I don't know. It, you know, it's,
He had just said that they had brought it up a couple times. I don't know why she would say that if it hasn't been
Right.
brought up in the
no, I'm
meeting.
sure, right, yeah. I know the city attempted.
Because it is filling up with the coffee house, I guess, all the coffee house parking. And I guess that they're like thinking that maybe if they're ever gonna sell that lot to the city, now would probably be the best time because their lot's getting full anyway.
And on Sundays, it's probably easy to park Sunday mornings for church, wherever. Yeah, I
Right,
mean,
I mean,
it's-
they have funerals and we get notices on
Mhm.
Saturdays, they have events that said, hey, you know, some of our guys who come on our bike ride on Saturday mornings at 7 o'clock, they park there, but when they tell us the day before or 2 days before, we're like, make sure that no one parks there, because they're very gracious. I
Mhm.
mean, so very accommodating, so,
They've
Um,
never come over and said anything to us,
really.
really.
I'm on
I mean,
There's an email list that it's a group email, I'll get you on there.
I'm not on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
they've
they
never
just
said
send out
anything
to like
about-
8 different businesses, and I know Acme used to be on there. They probably are still just
Mhm,
sending it to
they're not on
Acme. Okay,
Yeah. But I just thought that was interesting and I don't know who to pass that info to because I just think that if they're talking about it amongst themselves, maybe now would be the time to approach them with maybe even if we want to rent some spaces. I mean, I think that right now that they're open to it.
I guess the only hiccup, which we'll discuss next.
I mean, why else would somebody just be discussing it? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
unless if it was.
Right, and it's probably been brought up because the city has attempted to buy the back lot from them, I believe. Or has mentioned that in the
Hmm.
past, is what I believe, and so maybe that's why they think that is a possibility, I don't know, but, and maybe it is a possibility,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So who should I pass that info to? Do you
Okay.
know?
Are we supposed to make a recommendation on something here?
Yeah, who is looking into the parking permit? Is it?
Well, we
this-
talked about it this last meeting, we talked about it with Eric,
Yeah.
and there's
okay.
nothing on his, you
An
know, it just
update.
didn't make it onto his last minute Word document, so.
If I could add one thought,
yes.
as far as overselling. There might be an issue with that if, let's say, the city oversells, and then one day you show up and there's no parking for you, you're not gonna be happy.
No,
So you guys, I guess the recommendation is you need to know a threshold. If keep overselling, eventually the space is gonna run out.
Mhm.
So now you have customers parking when they're not supposed to park. And then you have employees not parking where they're supposed to park.
Mhm.
So then you're paying hundreds of dollars for a permit and now you can't find a space. So just a thought
Right,
of overselling.
do you notice, because you're driving through there so frequently, I'm really not paying attention, I'm just pulling in looking for a place to spot and running. On a normal Tuesday, are there a lot of permit parking spots available?
They're usually about 10 to 12
That are open.
but they're always, not always, it's not very consistent.
Mhm.
So you might come in the morning, you might be empty, but in the afternoon, when people start showing up to work,
Mhm.
you might see like 10 spaces or so, but not to the capacity where I'm like, oh, this is empty. But there are some days where they fill up, so I'm wondering where they coming from,
Huh.
and they have permits. So,
Is there a pattern to that?
I mean, I don't track it to the point where I need,
Could we get a
Wonder what the
list
trigger was.
of who has the permits, like what businesses they belong to? Is that private?
that's
It's just-
something you guys discuss probably with Eric. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if it's, real estate, where it.
right,
Who's in charge of the permits? Where do they, who hands those out? Where did you buy yours?
Front desk, but someone else, I don't know the name of the person.
We may start a conversation with them at some point.
They're always.
Is
empty
the
in
parking
back.
lot behind our buildings too full? I mean, it seems like that's empty all the time. Nobody's
It's not
parking
empty
in
all the
that.
time. If you go back, it is over, it's probably 60% full, maybe 70% full.
But I mean, like, there's always empty spaces. I've never had to leave the
That is
lot.
correct. Yeah, we were running into
Yeah.
problems before the pandemic where it was full. And stuff, and so people would have to go park over on Cedar and stuff like that. But we haven't seen that since the pandemic, and it's not ever gotten close to where it was before. So there's always been parking now behind us.
Is that the?
Is there any permit parking in,
Employee parking lot.
is there any permit parking in that lot? I'm wondering if maybe we just need to like put some permit parking in there and then maybe it will spread it out a little.
Well, that's-
Because like, let's just say like the Limke guys might have permit parking. Can Limke be parking in this back lot instead of in the garage? And then that would free up the score.
Yeah, I guess we can look at that. If we can get a hold of a list of people who have the permits, we can have a better idea or grasp on that as a thought. I mean, I don't know why, I mean, personally, why would Lemke buy a permit parking when he can park closer for free? You know, that doesn't, why would you spend the money? Doesn't make sense.
What, I don't know who has permit parking, just saying that maybe.
Right, yeah, no, we don't know who has.
Promote people
Or Karen
parking
has
back
two.
here.
Well, we now have
Oh,
5,
5, okay, so,
so yeah,
Your spots will be full.
our spots will be full, yeah, we will use them.
okay. So,
But there's no, because I understand, there's no real long-term parking plan in the city. There's probably an Eric question, right?
there is, I mean, we had
Like,
we did a parking evaluation, let's say 8 years ago or 9 years ago, where we had a company come in
Mhm.
and evaluate all our parking. And we thought we had a parking problem and they said we didn't.
We need
It
like
depends,
customers to complain.
parking
And our
problems are
customers-
relative, it's like Clayton is a parking problem.
You City has parking problems.
Right.
Have you had customers come in? I don't recall. It doesn't seem to be a huge problem, and I would think it would be for us, where customers are like, gosh, I just kept driving around and couldn't find a place to park.
I mean,
I get complaints. and
I
they-
watch the cars when I'm pulling into my permit spot, driving circles, like assessing, like, should I risk it? Should I park in a permit? But I don't know.
Like even Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, like that's when parking is jam packed in the district and like people still find a place to park.
Mhm.
I don't know where they're
But
parking.
that's in the night. I mean,
That's in-
and permit parking is only, permit parking, you can
Right.
park in permit parking after
Yeah.
5, is that right? So it's a wide open for restaurants, which
Yeah,
is.
so like at Madrina, we have valet parking because we thought there was gonna be this big parking problem.
Mhm.
But it's not, like, we're only parking a handful of cars every night.
Right.
Unless there's a big party. So I'm like, hey, that's different. I'm like, that means that people are familiar with the area, they know where they can park and walk. Even
Right.
when it's 0 degrees outside.
Did they make you, Frankie, did they make you get, have to do valet like they did to O and O because of parking or no?
No, that's just a convenience thing for our guests.
Okay.
I can always find a place to park.
You can always find a
Never-
place.
It's
Never
around
not been
lunchtime.
able- Doesn't matter.
Oh, really? I've noticed if I come in between that 12 and 2,
And
it's.
I never park where I can't. I never risk it, because I don't have to,
Mhm.
but I know where all the
Hmm.
spots are.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll talk to Eric about that next meeting, and then Operative Razul is gonna do a comprehensive parking study for us in the garage. Let us know the percentage of permit parking.
Every 15 minutes.
Everybody's permitted.
Yeah, just sit there. We'll come again. Who do you work for? Each business.
Okay. District pedestrian signs.
That is on the memo.
Okay, good.
Looks like they've been refreshed, reinstalled and blank, ready for us to figure out what to do with it.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to figure out what we want. So are we these are the signs, the way they slip in where it used to say the restaurant his way or whatever, that's what we're talking about. Who is gonna, I guess, is there some, I guess there's some sign company who's gonna do this? Or the city?
As I recall, you talked about doing vinyl things that could be
Oh, yeah, that's right,
changed.
that's right, that's right.
So you could do events
Right.
or,
Okay,
which sounded like something that could be done locally, like Zoe could do them, for example.
right. Okay.
Stickers.
All right, so let's try to look at those signs and come up with an ideas for what we can put on them by next meeting. Next meeting will be also budget, which is not gonna be fun. It's the worst.
What signs are we talking about?
Remember the old wayfinding pedestrian signs that used to like point businesses to the parking deck and down. Yeah, exactly. So we talked about
Okay,
possibly putting other information on there besides businesses like jazz festival, ladies night out, third Thursday of every month, or something like that. So so something to try to promote things as well, where businesses could be on there
A
too.
QR code that they can scan with the map on it.
Right, exactly. And somebody, and there is something that came out about where the city does have a QR code now, I believe, and it points everybody to Old Webster's district. And it was a cling sign that you could put in the front window. I think that was originally Stacy's idea a long time ago, which was good, so.
no, we've been working on that with BDC.
Okay,
That's
all
still
right,
in. check.
okay,
It hasn't happened yet, but it's getting close.
okay, got it, all right, okay. So it's really close, okay. Okay, bench reconstruction. So Dan and I were able to take apart a bench, one of the old wooden benches that everyone voted for to have replaced, except for me, and which is fine. And we were able to fix it pretty easily. It wasn't very hard at all, actually. And so there's talk about and the city still has all those old parts. So if the city, we need to approach the city and the Parks Department, and when they need new benches, I think that the general consensus was that we would then revive our old wooden benches to have the same look throughout the city, and everyone liked the wooden bench better. And it's cost effective, more cost effective than a new bench is. So the city theoretically could hopefully maybe buy our used benches, and which would enable us to get our wooden slats, so we'd be able to rebuild and have our old benches back, kind of. So that is what we were talking about. It's gonna have to almost be in a way where it's only when the city's gonna need a bench, or when benches need to be purchased, the city will grab the metal benches, and then because of the fact of budgets, I mean, we'll look at this next meeting, of course, but I don't think we're gonna have a whole lot of extra money at all to spend on all new benches. But if we can piecemeal it as we go, and when anyone needs to buy a bench gets hit in Old Orchard by a car, they need a bench. We got, and that's how we can start rebuilding that. A little long process,
Right.
Did you hit a bench in Old Orchard?
No.
Okay, you just
I
look
was gonna
guilty then.
ask about it for a minute.
Okay. New
Eric did say that one's ready, one bench is ready to go, and it'll place that Regions and West Coffee House as soon as they're.
Okay, that sounds very good. So I included the page of the auditor's report for the fiscal year that ended in June 30th, 2023.
And I gave you copies.
Thank you.
So we had money, but we spent. Isn't it like
Yeah, we spent $17,000 more. Or we.
with 38,000?
Hmm?
Net negative 38,000 last year.
I don't have that second sheet.
First page, net change in fund balance, negative 38,451.
Yeah, you're gonna.
We were budgeted to budgeting a loss of just shy of 40,000. And we spent 1,400 less than planned. We started the year with 117,000 in our fund balance. We ended the year with 78,584. And that's June of last year. I don't know where it is today.
That's pretty much what we predicted.
Yeah. Budget loss.
So it's pretty substantial, huh?
Congratulations.
Well, we purposely did that. I mean, not,
It was planned. It was planned. It was in the budget. So we're
Right.
fully aware it wasn't a surprise.
but in hindsight, if I can recall, when we were going through talking all the budget stuff. We were like, okay, let's just see, you know, this is what it says, but we always somehow end up where we balance, but we didn't.
Yeah.
So we definitely went down substantially, and so we need to. Think about that when we're looking at next month's budget of, we're gonna have to probably cut some stuff because our revenue probably is not gonna increase. Over last year.
We're talking also about those audit results.
Yeah, the audit result.
Yeah,
And Stacy, I don't think you have it.
I
It was not in the email. It was physical.
It's a link on the agenda.
no, I didn't get that. I have
Oh
the
yeah, if you look at the
memo.
agenda, there's a.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Why did licenses, fees and permits? Why do you think that went down so much?
Actually, that's interesting. On the revenue side, our revenues were actually
The amount that
a fair
we're,
amount under budget.
Yeah, why are business licenses so?
I don't know what is transfers in.
Oh my gosh, I
Graham,
feel like
what's-
such a
That's
moron.
Parks.
I cannot, what would this email?
So Parks didn't use everything that we gave them. And that's the
Oh,
flowers.
so, okay, so essentially.
So they put money back in.
So it was a plus expenditure savings.
There we go.
So in total, we were on budget, right? Revenues were down. And expenses were-
And pretty, I mean,
That's pretty significant.
business licenses were half of what they were in 2023. Or 2022, that doesn't make sense at all.
No, because 2022 would have been way,
Even, yeah,
would have been lower because of the, weren't there still closures that year prior?
pardon me?
Weren't there still things that were happening with COVID the year prior? So that definitely wouldn't have.
25.
yeah,
That's 2023 is the lowest by far of the last 5 years.
That's
That makes,
really odd.
that makes no sense.
Right, because there's no vacant buildings.
No,
I think I'll talk to Eric. I'll see if I can get some clarity.
because I think we were expecting it to go up.
Right. Yeah, we were expecting it to go up. We budgeted 37,000.
do you think that maybe people still haven't turned in their,
No.
Like half the people?
We were due in April, right?
Yeah. And then you start getting fined, you know, it's like ridiculous
No,
amount of money.
they do not.
5% more if you're a couple days late, which is,
I don't think that they're on top of the finding on that. I mean, I personally don't know, but I remember from a conversation, Eric actually saying that there are people that haven't paid their dues in like years.
It's
Yeah,
their
but
license, though.
Yeah,
but if they
that-
haven't paid in years, why would all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah, one
did
major-
half the
it's a-
people
it's a
not
major
pay?
problem.
You know, that's what my thing. I mean,
Yeah.
people haven't paid in years and are delinquent bums. They were all in those previous years too.
Right.
Shouldn't say that, I'm sorry.
I feel like those should be like out there and exposed and people would more likely be paying them, but
Well, it should be looked into. That's
Yeah,
a large unexpected change.
And this real estate tax number. These aren't right. Unless this is counted for differently.
So this
The
is
budget
the-
worksheet shows 43,000 of real estate taxes. This audit report shows 37,000.
oh my gosh, I am like having a hard time finding what we're talking about. Are we looking at the audit report or are we looking?
So there's two different things, Stacy, on the audit report. For
Okay.
Actual property taxes is
Yeah.
37,929.
Yes,
On the budget request worksheet, you have to flip between these. The
Yeah,
twenty twenty-three actual amount shows 43,609.
Right.
So there's a bit of a discrepancy there. The business license, that agrees, but again, it's oddly low.
It's almost like I wonder if they just like plugged in a different business district in the wrong column. I'm just guessing.
Like, yeah.
Like maybe, I don't know, maybe Old Orchard, that's what they're,
That's what I was thinking, like.
well, something's weird.
Yeah, it should be a red flag.
okay, so should we put this conversation on hold until we get clarification?
We'll have to,
Yeah.
yeah, because,
But that'll be, I mean, next month is when we're gonna start the budget discussions.
right,
And I mean, the numbers are what they are. I guess they're audited numbers, but I think we need clarity from Eric on why is that? Because really, if 25,000 is the new norm for business licenses, then that
We need to
should
cut.
be our budget, right?
Mhm.
We need to plan accordingly.
okay, so,
Look at a list of business licenses from 2020, from the prior 2022 and 2023 and see like, where did we lose?
Yes.
Like,
Right.
who did we lose? Like,
Right.
Yeah, the only place I know that we really lost was Acme.
right,
Yeah, but I'm still paying property tax. And
right,
actually, I'm paying a lot more than they ever paid. Okay. I'm just telling you.
Business licenses. Do you have 2 business licenses?
2 business licenses?
Yeah.
One for what? The building?
Yeah.
No, because it's not,
Never mind, don't worry about it.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
am I supposed to?
no,
No,
Okay.
I suspect
raise
our
money.
sales meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the building's not making any money, Frankie.
right.
okay, all right, so, try to get some clarification from Eric on that. It'd be nice, I don't know, Fran, if you can maybe reach out to him on that, but maybe we could get that before our next meeting, day of our meeting with, just like this, you just don't, I didn't have time to absorb it, so until we really sit down, so it'd be nice to have a good grasp on it before our meeting. So if we could get a name of the businesses on the business licenses, I don't guess we have to know exactly what they paid, but just people who have business
Or if
licenses.
he can, if that's confidential, fine, just if he can really, he should have access to it, be able to report back the numbers. We
Right.
Lost this many.
It's not,
it's a
it is not
50% drop.
confidential. I believe you're allowed to have a list of updated businesses that have
Licenses.
licenses.
Okay.
Then
Then that would be our request. By the next meeting, we would like to see a list of 22 versus 23 business
See who we
licenses.
lost and
Right,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
that's-
significant
no
drop.
way.
But that's a big increase from 21 to 22 also.
Well, now, Eric, I recall this past year, you did indicate that they circled back on chasing down delinquent businesses, so we got a pop in 2022. But even if you look to 2019, 2020,
Right.
21, relative to 2023, that's a big
Valid.
drop. So, on this trend, something doesn't have.
Mhm.
There's, again, if we take 22 out of the mix, we're still 30 or 40% down.
Mhm.
There hasn't been a 30% drop in businesses.
The way I kind of look at things with COVID is I look back to 2019 and say, okay,
Right.
where am I, now things
That's the
are
norm.
getting back to the norm.
There's your-
And They dropped in 2020 and 2021. Dave can definitely be right. We got more revenue that year just because of delinquencies that no one was paying. But there's no way it should be 20.
I mean, unless if like Novus isn't running their business through their office anymore and they move their business through Clayton or something.
Which would, yeah, be good to know.
But
Yeah.
do they have to pay taxes anyway? They're not a retail business. I mean,
Right.
there are like professional services don't pay. You know, architects. Accountants.
I'm paying by being here.
You are. So,
Right, but there hasn't been like a
I
major
don't-
shift between, you know, restaurants and retail to professional services.
Right.
Just anecdotally. There hasn't been a big shift.
no, not at all.
If anything.
Yeah, there's not gonna be any
I think-
retail up and upstairs of your building.
No.
It's just not gonna happen. So,
But I mean, there hasn't been like a big, if anything, I think there's been a shift of an increase in retail.
Right.
I would agree. Yeah, it's busier, it's more, it's busier than ever. So,
Something's going here.
You lost one.
Later.
Later. And before that, they might as well have been closed because there was never any business.
They closed?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Who closed? Layla?
Layla.
Oh,
So it's just that open, is anything going in there?
I haven't heard of it.
okay,
You're not saying no.
we really don't have a BDC update, do we?
No, they meet Thursday,
Meet Thursday, okay.
but they will be talking about the window clean thing that you were talking about.
Okay.
the window clean, and we'll be talking about the meet and greet.
The business coffee is February 7th.
Yes, so please mark your calendars. We would love to have you guys there.
And at what time?
8:30 at the rec center.
And is that a Wednesday?
Yes, it is. They're going to be doing an explanation, I guess, for lack of a better word, of what CIDs are. Just as there are those that on the VDC that want to put it out there so more people know about it. There is no direction from the city that they want to do that. It's solely the VDC that wants to put the information out
Okay, we don't really have a city update, I don't guess. Well, yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm here.
Okay,
Good morning.
city update.
I just have a few items I just want to mention. The administration is asking all boards and commissions to chime in on the color of the roof of the city hall. There's a lot of asbestos rebatement they have, mediation they have to do, but they're looking for you guys to chime in to say what color the roof should be. There's a
Takes 2 seconds.
survey out there on the website. Also, if you haven't done so already, you know, we're going through the police chief recruitment. There's another survey out there we're asking all residents to fill out to give their opinion or suggestions of what we should be looking for in the next police chief. I want to say we only have, as last meeting, maybe about 65 responses to that. Also, we're going to start the public education for Proposition W. That's for the Parks and Recreation no tax increase bond that will be on the ballot in April. That would be, all those funds are directed to the Parks and Recreation area. And also, remember that's going to be about 10 different items, different on the ballot for the changes that we're proposing for the charter, including I'm trying to think of the word now, the amendments and the preamble for charter. So election is going to have quite a few items on it. So be ready when you vote to sit down. It won't be a 2 minute sit down. But most of the charter members are a yes and no. So I'm sure, I believe the different changes are out there on the website if you want to read them beforehand. We did go over in our last council meeting on the budget review for the city. We're doing an excellent job trying to spend no more money than we have or bring in. So we're right on target with all of our budget line items.
Emerson, I think that's because you took $24,000 of our money, I think.
I know it was a difference somewhere. I'm glad you pointed that out. So also I guess you guys know the budget process is going to start next month. So be prepared for that. And let me see. Well, there will be an election. You'll see my name, Jamie Heisemeyer, and Karen Alexander names on the ballot for another term for city council. The positive thing is it was only 3 positions and only 3 people applied. So because we are the size of our city, we must still have an election. Our names are on the ballot. So all I need is 1 vote. So
You got
you
it.
cannot depend on that room. Give me 1 vote.
I will get it.
So, but we're glad of that because the consistency and the continuation of the council will be a big improvement, and still have the same people moving in the same direction. When you have a turnover of 2, 3 people, it takes you almost 2 years just to get caught up with what's going on with the city. So we'll be able to hit the ground running and continue with the things that we have started. I think that is all I have, unless you have some questions.
You don't know anything about that parking or the city possibly talking to the church about buying the lot, do you? You heard anything about that?
No.
Okay.
There is a big conversation out there about parking, period. That's with involving the school district. I mean, this is, that's a very old conversation. When I served 3 terms on the Board of Education, and that was always an issue where the students were going to park in the neighborhood. So the Traffic Commission did submit a proposal on how to structure the parking, but that has not come to our table yet for discussion. But no, haven't heard anything about us.
Not for this district.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but not even in conversations or updates. So
Okay.
I'm sure it'll probably come up soon. Other than that,
This is off. This doesn't have to do with this board, but isn't part of the problem with the high school parking that they've closed off half the lot while they are reconstructing the fields? I mean, they've lost 30 spots, 40 spots, it seems like, at the high school. All these kids are now parking on the streets and there's a giant uproar, but half of their lot's gone up, the butts up against, well, pretty much Big Bend.
Oh,
Bradford.
on Bradford.
Bradford, yeah, exactly.
They were supposed to park on Bradford.
They
They
don't?
read the Kirkwood Times, the Webster Kirkwood Times.
It's just like 15 spots by Big Ben,
Okay,
but right on Selma and Bradford, you can't park there anymore.
okay.
And then the rest on Selma is residential.
Okay.
So-
We make it all from.
and the
Selling
city is doing a
purposes.
I think it's a 45-day test to see what happens if we restrict parking on one side of, I can't even think of the street.
Swan?
East Swan.
Swan, yes, Swan. So, but that's just for 45 days. I heard a lot of comments about stopping it, and it's just a test. After 45 days, it'll go back. But we're going to engage the school district because not saying it's just a school district problem, but it is a school district problem. People are looking for the city to solve, and those different changes and recommendations must come from the school district, and for them to pay for whatever they need for those changes that happen with parking. So I don't know what caused such a big uproar this particular time, but it is an agenda item that we're going to talk about.
Okay, anything else?
I do have a quick comment of curiosity. So Street Fest, what pre-planning for Street Fest?
About the street dance?
Sorry, Street Dance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aren't
Street
you-
Dance deal that,
You're in charge of that, right?
yeah, apparently. I volunteered last year, so it's on me. I know Joe and Dan did most of the heavy lifting last year and in years past. I don't even know where the process starts.
Call Joe. Joe will give you everything you need to know.
Okay,
And I don't know, I can't say this, I don't want to speak for Joe, but he'll probably help you considerably.
yeah, I was kind of just hoping he'd do it again. And I can be a figurehead.
You can go down there and clean up.
Mary's health has really, he can't even leave the house right now because of Mary's health.
Okay.
So anything you can call him to get notes that we can take off of his plate would be, I mean, literally, he can't leave his house. He can't leave Mary's side right now for the next 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
So,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
definitely count Joe out from doing anything this year.
All right, yeah, I can jump on it. Just popped in my head the other day and.
But
wanna
he
make sure.
will share everything with you, as like he gave Josh a key to the storage unit just in case we need anything for trade, but I'm sure he can, give you a key too, or give you the rundown of what you need to do for street dance.
Okay.
He didn't give.
Is there a date? Is there a date assigned on the calendar or do we just pick it?
No, it's always the
Date is
same.
there. Yeah.
Same, I think it's like the 15th, I could look,
It's like on the
it's always
city
the
calendar.
third
June 15th.
Saturday in June.
Correct.
And I
First or second?
thought it was the third,
Third, okay, so that's June 15th.
yes. The first thing is to ensure that the band is booked. I have a feeling that they are because they've already put it on their social
Gonna do it.
media.
Got it.
Mhm.
It's probably booked as soon as the last one finishes.
And they've already
Band-
posted it
Band stage.
on the social medias. Those are the two things that need to be done right away.
I'll get with Joe on the details.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I mean, he
that's-
would love to probably give you every ounce of every detail.
Okay, good.
Block off 2 hours.
Oh, he does like to share.
That's what we love about Joe. He's full of all this information.
Good.
Okay,
It's an encyclopedia.
anything else? Okay, next meeting is gonna be on the 27th. We're gonna have to probably meet at 8 versus 8:15, although I really like 8:15. I didn't realize how much, how much left rush I was. So, let's, we'll meet at 8 o'clock on the 27th.
Okay, why are we meeting? Because of the budget?
Yeah, it's gonna be long.
Okay,
You can show up late.
to the budget. I'm
No,
good.
you can do it.
I'll be there at 8 o'clock.
Okay,
All right.
all right. All right,
Bye.
thanks, everyone.